Prince Osuya Omotunde.
All right, it's an exciting morning again because I won't be doing the talking alone this morning. And somebody just said that when Tessie and I come on set, we usually come with opposing views. But maybe we'll have a tiebreaker this morning in Prince Osuya Omotunde, who is right here with us in the studio. He is the CEO of the Voice of Aiyekooto Reporters. So he's in the business. We do the same exact business. So we'll be analyzing some of these affairs for us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love the inscription. Aiyekooto. I love the inscription on your top this morning. Do you
Aiyekooto Wiki.
But what's the meaning of that? Can you please translate?
The world don't want truth, and heaven do not accept lies. So it's all about truth is sacrosanct.
It must be acceptable, irrespective of what we feel about it.
We don't have
But the world does not want the truth.
Of course.
And heaven does not want lies. So and we all want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
We all want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
We all.
So we need to balance it.
Of course, yes.
Because I
balance it, or you need to pick the truth. There's no balance.
Aiyekooto, they don't want the truth.
But you have to just leave the truth. What a contradiction. Anyway, starting with the front page stories of the papers this morning, still all about the SARS protest. So we're still talking the same thing we did yesterday. And the new twist in the anti-SARS protest. Now, the interesting part about this protest was yesterday some people attacked some people. Now, thugs, robbers attacked the protesters in Abuja. Protesters occupied the Kogi government house. CNPP asked president to address the nation on the protest. Northern Coalition begins protest, demands a state of emergency. One of the things I discovered that the young people are clamoring for is for the president to address the nation.
Well, the president have a lot to do because it is the signals are all everywhere that the Nigerian youth have come of age to move out from their bedroom and find themselves on the streets. And what might have led to that, I think the president or the government of this present government have to find a solution to that, to know why the boys are on the streets. And when you look at it very well, the agitation was for the end of SARS. And the president has acceded to that fact. And the people have to go back to their bedroom, except if there's more
demands that they're asking for.
Yeah, they have brought in some demand to the president. I think I can see His Excellency, the governor of Lagos State, with the president, bringing the 5 demands to His Excellency, the president of this country. And I think that
that's the governor of Lagos State, right?
The governor of Lagos State took their demand down to the president.
In Abuja,
yes,
in Abuja. Okay.
And the president and the rest are looking into it. And I believe that they should give government some time to actually see if they will heed to their demand. And for what I see, I believe the president is working towards that, and the police hierarchy too are oblivious of the fact that the people meant business, and they have to listen to that.
So how true is the fact that the governor joined in the protest yesterday? That's the governor of Lagos State.
I don't believe that the fact that the president, the governor of Lagos State, have to come to the protesters and address them does not mean that he joined in the protest. He's part and parcel of the government.
Okay.
And you cannot fight against your own house.
Like we can see now that the governor is, I think,
presenting that
demands to the president, like in the video we're watching right now.
Yeah.
But you know, as much as we are still talking about this, the new twists to the protests, some people, there seem to be an uprising to make sure that the youths keep quiet. Interesting part was I watched a video yesterday. Somebody sent it to me on social media, and the person just said, bumper breakfast, this is for your consumption. And I saw that a young man apparently in the video was confessing to having been sponsored or organized by some people to go and attack the protesters in Abuja. And when they got there with knives and all of that, how the protesters resisted them and they ended up getting... So 4 of them died. They attacked, I think, 4 of them. And he claimed that his brother, who brought the job, was one of the people who actually died. Then there was another video where one of these attackers was hiding in a bus. And people were telling him to come out, and he just simply refused that he wasn't going to come out to face the protesters anymore.
Yeah, there are several twists to that, and we have to look at it from this angle. Even those that are protesting, that are not, some of them are not genuine protesters. Some are there, being sponsored to be there as well. And
some are being sponsored to protest.
Yeah, of course, yes. Of course, yes. We have seen cases where money and things have been supplied to them to go ahead and do that. And I think that it is also under the limit of the law. It is their fundamental human right to protest. It is also the fundamental human right of the other side to protest against it. But where the problem is you should not disrupt what I'm protesting for or against. And I think that is the area we have to look into. And there are some other stories that the Fulani boys in Abuja also on the other side said they want it, they want the SARS, and the other side said no, this brutality must come to an end. But the real fact of it all
You're
is
trying to create confusion. That's what I
there is confusion on the air, and brutality is all about Nigeria.
But I know the real youths know what they want. Without being sponsored or not being sponsored, they know what
By
they want.
anybody.
By anybody.
Yes,
They know
this
what
is all the first stage. Like I said earlier on, the Nigerian youth are just waking up. I think the problem the Nigerian government have with the Nigerian youth is simple. There is a dichotomy between the both sides. The government is also far away from these youths, so they do not know what they actually want. This is the first time we are seeing it in the history of this country after some long time.
I'm telling you, this is the first time I'm even saying it. The youth coming together in one voice.
In one voice, telling them that this is what we need to answer. But the problem here is that the president, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, with all due respect, have acceded to that fact.
To that request.
Yes, I have it here.
So
I have it here.
if SARS has been ended, why the protest still going on?
Yeah, because they said they gave them SWAT. And they said there's a SARS with another title. Now I remember. That's it. That's how the youths define it. They said SWAT means SARS with another title.
That is so.
That they're bringing SARS back in, we said they want reformation.
But we need,
They're bringing that, they're not bringing SARS back in another uniform, in another.
but we need an organization to perform the duties of SARS. If not, we're going to have a loophole in the system.
I think in this regard, I have to take you back into some memory lane. You see, SARS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, founded 37 years ago, and there was a reason for that. And this same president of today was then the head of state. And 18 years was the Inspector General of Police. And he was tongue-lashed by the then head of state and the Supreme Military Council that, look, there are a lot of violent crime going on in Lagos Metropolis and the rest of the country. He said, "That you sit right, I will show you the way out." And the man came to the police authority and told the men that, look, what shall we do to stop violent crime? So that is a responsibility, statutory responsibility of the Nigerian police force to maintain peace and order, irrespective of whose own is gone. Going the other side by the overzealousness of some officers does not mean that the Nigerian police must shy away from their statutory responsibility. So we having SWATs. The ID have said, look, we have disbanded SARS,
And they wouldn't be reabsorbed.
and we are not going to reabsorb them. We are going to have a new name to handle this. So I think that does not mean that they are twisting it or trying to tell Nigerians.
Are they recruiting new people for this position, for this post?
That's the
That is what the youth are fighting for. Are they recruiting people?
That is the
Are they telling us now? Okay, I saw something on social media that the ID asked all the SARS operatives or SARS officials to report, all of them to report to Abuja. So how are the youths not sure? How are they not? How are they debriefing? Yes, for the briefing. No, so now look at. I know what they are protesting for. Now they are telling us that you asked them to come to Abuja and you give us SWAT. So who are the people you are recruiting? Who are the people you are calling SWAT? Are these not still the same people in another uniform?
No.
That is what the thing. So the government I think they should come out and enlighten them more on this. They shouldn't keep mum. So this
will they address
keep mum.
That's why I started by saying
the
the address of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I'm telling you.
Will it make a difference? Will the vice president, the president sitting on one table and talking about this, will it make a difference? Do you see it making a difference?
These boys, these youths are determined. That is not enough. That is not enough. The government will put in place proactiveness in whatever they are going to say. She is saying that what they need to do or what they need, what they are questioning is who are these people they are bringing in. And I think we have a lot of unemployed youths there that can be trained to be these SWAT officers. So they are not going to bring them from heaven. It is still going to be Nigerians.
So the so-called SARS, the so-called people that are called SARS, what are they? They are
going to be deployed to other police formations. We have a lot of police formations.
And the youths are saying they are clamoring for the president or the federal government, whoever is in charge, to increase the salaries of the police officials. They say they are being paid 22,500 naira, and I can imagine if they are being paid 22,500 naira monthly, then why wouldn't they go for bribe? Why would they kill people because of 500 naira? Why would they shoot because of 50 naira?
Okay, let me put it to you this way. It is very unfortunate that the Nigerian police are poorly paid.
They are poorly paid.
It is also very unfortunate that the money allocated to pay salaries are not even enough.
Now, a constable, let me clarify certain things.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am.
A constable of the Nigerian police force earns 46,000 naira to about 47,000 naira. A corporal of the Nigerian police force earns 52,000 naira to 53,000 naira. A sergeant of the Nigerian police force earns 62,000 naira to 63,000 naira. Now, if you have one bar unconfirmed, you earn 78,000. But if you are an confirmed inspector, which means you have 2 bars, you earn 123,000 naira. 1-star ASP earns 132,000 to about 134,000. A confirmed ASP earns 139,000 naira. A DSP earns 142,000 to about 143,000 naira. That is the salary scale. The lowest they pay in the Nigerian police force is 46,000 naira. But I put it to you this way. Maybe because they are facing issues like crime, and they are usually in the forefront of battles that could cost their lives. There need to be hazard allowance and all of those things added to it. But I dare say, how many private organizations in Nigeria pay their graduate staff more than 40,000 naira? The constable in question who earns 46,000, many of them are not even secondary school dropouts. But the majority of them.
I totally disagree with that.
I disagree with it as well. Because when you look at this private security outfit, do you know how much they pay for?
I know.
Just the security outfit. Some people earn like 50K. I do. And some people earn 70. So a policeman in uniform protecting the lives of the citizen should earn more. It should earn more.
I agree. But what I'm saying
is a family to take care of.
Agreed.
No.
Inside of every individual that makes 250 naira, 500 naira very important to you, so much so that you are willing to make more.
Let me come in this way. You are talking about a police sergeant who has spent 17 years in service, being paid just 40,000.
No, for the place where it starts from is a constable, and it has 42,000 today.
And you saw the video where a police officer was crying out, also saying she's being paid 51 or 53,000 naira for 17 years in service.
Yes.
What does that mean to us?
Which means that our salary scale, even though we are working on it, even the increments between it. Did you see the gap between 42 and 46,000?
Did you see what the National Assembly that they are receiving there?
Yes, I see the salary, yes.
I understand.
Collecting over how many millions of naira
with different allowance
for saying A and I in the house. It's very, very pathetic. So what the youth should be doing is by calling for a restructuring of the country. From there they can have a police reform and a reform society that will take care of them. You don't respect a man who is frustrated and put gun on his hand at the slightest provocation. Yes. He will go and do the otherwise. That is the problem we are facing. When a man is angry, when a man is hungry, when a man is frustrated, he is bound to do everything.
That means we shouldn't even be. But how then do you explain the place of passion? Because these vigilantes, have you noticed that vigilantes on our streets who spend all night, policing our environments? Then the houses around contribute 500 naira to give them 1,000. And I ask the question every month when they are paying them, how much is this person earning? Total 15,000 naira.
No, some more earn more than that. Depends on the street.
Some earn more.
Depends on the area.
Some earn more. Some earn less. Because it's even worse now. The estates and the tush areas within the place lock themselves in and they do not.
One thing we should all know is that Nigeria cannot do away with the Nigerian police.
Of course.
It is their statutory responsibility to protect lives and properties.
Yes.
It is the duty of the president of the country to hold to that sacred aspect of the constitution that says that you must protect lives and property of Nigerians.
Very true.
And it is also the duty of the Inspector General of Police to ensure that that is done. So what Nigeria need to be doing is to call for a total restructuring of the country where they will fashion out a very sound police reform and have the men that will be there and they will be taken care of.
Now, the Police Service Commission, have you noticed that the Police Service Commissioner at this particular point, aren't they supposed to be going to the table and putting forward the reforms? Because when we hear things like reform, but what kind of reforms? Are they going to, they say the youth ask for medical, psychological evaluation, or, and all of that. Yes. But what kind of reforms are we talking about here? Where do you recruit these guys from? Somebody, a guest on our show about 2 days ago raised the point, very valid point, that when police recruitment is happening, then forms are distributed in wards and in constituencies by political office holders to satisfy their people. The entire recruitment process sometimes could be a compensation because I think it's all about going to the police college now.
We still go back.
You don't get what I'm saying. So when you take 1,000, you want to employ 1,000 people, and we already have all these sharing formula issues, and then at the end of the day, you do not even pick the people who qualify. When they pick those people that
is why you need the total restructuring of the country.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Because let me just tell you this. You cannot reform the police without a restructured society. In an unjust society, the just suffer. Exactly what you want to explain there. So in this regard, calling for a total restructuring of the country should be what the youth should be demanding. If not, it's not like we are just shying away from the fact of the whole matter.
But you know the truth, I really do not think, because in this situation,
you don't think that Nigeria should be restructured?
No, I do not think that the youths I think they're coming by their demands on a daily basis. And I think that majority of them today understand the issues. A lot of them are confronted with the daily issues, and are demanding for the daily issues that they are going through. The real issues that have woven itself into the fabrics of our country and need to be dealt with. But because I read an article that Pastor Sam Adeyemi, some of the tips, some of the things he said to
me. He has said nothing. When was he in 2015?
When
was he in 2015? When was he saying in 2015? What change?
2015.
We're talking about change. We're talking about change without a restructured country. And that is why Dr. Jiboye has come to tell you that we either restructure the country or we'll be facing problem. And that is exactly the problem we are facing. If you try to reform the Nigerian police without restructuring, you are nothing. You are not doing anything. Because we have just gone ahead. What that simply means is that we have just gone ahead to cut the tree from the branches and not from the taproot. The problem of Nigeria is from the taproot. We have to uproot it. We have to be sincere with ourselves. Today in the north, what are they talking about now? They're talking about insecurity. If it is here in the south, we are all dead by now. You know what is going on there in the north? People are not sleeping. People cannot sleep. Over 100,000 people have been murdered in their sleep. And you're here talking about Adeyemi. Who is Adeyemi? When was Adeyemi in 2015? It's annoying. He's here on the street now. Are we not all Prince? Where are the children? They are carrying laptop, protesting on the phone. Is that what they are saying? I saw Buhari daughter carrying phone, protesting saying we answers. He's not on the street. Is she there? We are Nigerians. We should open up and tell each other the truth. Nigeria needs restructuring to restructure the society. If not, there is going to be problem in the country. Nobody is comfortable. Are you happy? When you come to this place this morning, do you know what you went through? Instead of receiving regulars.
You know, some of the things that we talk about, some of the things that, the issues that
I'm getting pissed off, my dear sister.
I know.
It's not the country I dreamt of.
I know, you know, this season we should learn to be calming down.
we need to be calming down.
Daddy, you need to be calming down.
They're not making headlines. They're just attracting media attention. That's what they're doing. How many people are supporting? Even the Nigerian police we're talking about? I know some policemen who don't even collect bribe. I know some police who are so exceptional.
There's not all of them.
Very true. Not all of them are like that.
Do you understand? Who are speaking for them? Who is policing for the Nigerian police? Are they not human beings? Are they not Nigerians? Some protesters have died. We have seen where they were just giving 1 million. And we saw that a dilapidated building that was destroyed was giving 100 million. Who is protesting that? Is it fair?
I actually heard that story, and you know, one thing that struck me about it is that a building was, I would have preferred it wasn't made, the statements weren't made together. But when I heard that families of the deceased were given 1 million naira each, and then I heard the whooping 100 million. When the father of Jimo, Isiaka, when his father was talking about, it was just close to graduation, you know, wherever he's graduating from, not my concern, but 1 million, you see that 1 million, for me felt like an insult. I'm sorry, but it felt to me like an insult.
It's more than an insult.
For me, it felt like an insult, because if we can use 100 million to renovate a palace, and for the costs, you know, the sympathy, you know, that we could give to the family of that lost their son, is 1 million naira. No. It's not. It shouldn't have even been said in public. It shouldn't have been said.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Nigeria needs restructuring.
But let's go back to the stories, because I have another story this morning that I'd like to take a look at, and this time around I'm moving to the Punch newspaper. Coincidentally, almost all the banner headlines in the papers started with SARS, NSAS, and NSAS, and NSAS. But this one, you know, is totally different, and we have so many political issues that are happening around town. This time around, we have the fleeing gunman who killed Ogun mother, abducted the daughter, arrested. Ogun State Police Command has for a while now continued to...
Come again, please.
A fleeing gunman who killed a mother in Ogun State and abducted the daughter has been arrested. For a while, Ogun State Police Command has been doing a lot. They keep parading people and all that, rescuing people. I remember there was a rape of a young girl, a 16-year-old, and a farmer's daughter somewhere in Ogun State about 2 weeks ago. As they get people, I want to find out exactly why, for the Southwest as we speak right now, there seems to be a lot of crime happening in Ogun State. Is it because they're close to the border?
No, they are close to...
There's crime everywhere.
I know, but you know, almost all the rape, you know, everywhere. This is where the facts are from. Now, the rape issues we had from...
It's becoming very, very alarming.
From the school teacher who raped, multiplied rape the rape of a 16-year-old girl who was writing WAEC and was in the hostel, was in Songo. It was still Ogun State. The farmer's daughter who was raped was still in the same axis, Songwater axis, still the same Ogun State. The 10-year-old girl who was violated by a 30-something-year-old man in their community was still in Ogun State. The old woman who was violated was still in Ogun State. So I see that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, the police command keeps parading people they caught this person, they did this one. Kidnapping again, child kidnapping. They keep saying these people, baby factory, they kidnap, is very rampant in Ogun State.
So?
Is it because they're close to the border?
It's not just because they are close to the border. It's not about Ogun State.
Or they have so many bushes.
It's not just about Ogun State. I think the reason why we are seeing the Ogun State Police Command always there is because these are brought into media attentions. And we also have the similar situation here in Lagos State. When you go to command there and you see the way they parade all these criminals, all these rapists and all that, and even kidnapping issues, you will be forced to ask yourself, when will you stop writing about this? You see them line up 30, 40 of them like that. I think we are in a society that things are really going very, very bad. And that is why we can't do away with the Nigerian police. We need to fund them properly to always nip this thing at the mud. You see, when you try to be very close to them, they see you as one. But the truth of the matter is that in our communities, a lot of things are going on there. We have seen father rape daughter.
Yes,
we
very
seen,
popular
those are
in recent times.
And broken homes, especially those people from broken homes always face issues like this. And I strongly believe that if we're talking about kidnapping now, we likely agree on death of all these herdsmen killing and things like that. I will probably agree that it is a border issue. But this is just a Nigerian problem, the challenge the Nigerian police are facing, and I think they will be equal to the task because they know what is ahead of it. Don't forget that it is SARS, the SWAT, that will be responsible for those kind of a violent crime concerning kidnapping. And that is why the IG cannot sleep to tell you that, look, because we have ended SARS, then I must go back to bed and sleep. No, it can't happen that way. He has to. I think he acted under the Constitution of the Police Act, Section 18, Section 18, subsection 10 of 2020 to quickly act on that. You know, when he disbanded SARS, we have to do this SWAT in the next 24, 48 hours or so. So it is because of all this violent crime. Let me just simply tell you this. Immediately SARS was disbanded, I went to a club to see the reaction of the people, and I know the kind of people who started celebrating that now we have ended SARS. So it is the joy of some certain people there.
And they must not be rejoicing, like we said yesterday. Even the youth on the street are saying that when they finish this, their protest, they are coming for the cyber criminals. So
that one is good, but I want us to correct something, because at the start of the program I told you that the governor joined in the protest yesterday, of which we say we don't think so. I think it's true, because on the Nation newspaper here we have security launches probe into action, protester vehicles smashed in attack, no SARS operatives for SWAT, says IG. And it's now further reads that after publicly identifying with the NSAS protesters, governors yesterday intervened in the unabating protest despite government's concession. They met yesterday in Abuja with Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu on the issue and the way forward. They have also resolved to meet with identified leaders of the NSAS protesters to end the street rallies. Governors Babajide Sanwo-Olu Lagos, Hope Uzodinma Imo, Nyesom Wike Rivers, and Seyi Makinde Oyo attended rallies and spoke in support of the demands by protesters. So I think some governors came out to attend the rally as well.
Just some week attended.
I believe what is happening there is just mere politics. You know our politicians, they are very good at it.
But you know that you just acceded to the fact that the governor of Lagos State is very, very concerned. So much so that he took the president.
He has to be concerned, because we are talking about the leaders of tomorrow. He has to be concerned. And I believe that you don't also forget that Governor Wike of Rivers State at the initial stage said that he has banned the protesters, only for him to change overnight. That is to tell you that it is all about politics.
I believe the reason he changed was because he realized that this youth are serious.
But he was the first person to start the NSAS. It was only the first person.
There was the time he came out to ban it as well.
He was the first one.
The protest. But now he later joined in the protest.
Yes.
Because of what? the youth stood their feet.
As a matter of fact, Genevieve
I'm not telling you,
because
I'm not putting it to you that why he have to do that is because he has understand the physique of the people, the demand of the people, the intention of the people. So he have to play politics along, because all about politics is about people.
Politics? But it was one of the first ever people who even came up with banning SARS. It was far back as...
And he also came and banned it as well.
About 2018.
And banned it and later twisted again. Because
And then he was... And then I think he cried out and said, after they killed a musician or thereabout in River State, he came out and he was the first person that started this, they need to ban SARS before the boys took to the streets.
Actually, he has joined now. It's called the long story
it's
short.
politics. Why is it that we do not have SARS this thing in the north?
If they are playing politics, let them keep playing politics. This youth that I'm seeing on the street, they know what they want. Because
We are not saying they don't know what they want.
and this answers another question again. No SARS personnel will be part of SWAT police. Operations to be strictly intelligence-driven, won't embark on routine patrols, barred from indiscriminate unlawful search of phones, laptops, other smart devices. Structure SWAT to be acceptable to Nigerians, Labour tells IGP. Want only officers with 10 years experience seconded to unit. I think they are talking now. But
The
let's see.
demands are very reasonable. I just hope that, sometime during the recruitment process, I think follow through is one of our biggest challenges, follow through. Being able to start something and actually follow
You
through.
see, you can only have a police reformed in a reformed and a just society.
When the society itself is not just,
For me, what?
things would not work. But we need to go. We need to let Prince go. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome,
Thank
madam.
We do
Thank you.
appreciate you. He has calmed down. He has calmed down. We see this about the time. We see this about the time. We need to take this break. Our partners, Mitola, are in the studio this morning, and it's all about logistics and Korea. We'll be back. Welcome back. It's still the bumper breakfast, and of course the last lap of the conversation for today. We're talking about the full reopening of schools, and it's quite interesting that babies and toddlers are now free to go to school. Mrs. Abosede Adelaja, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Lagos State, joins us on the bumper breakfast table this morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Madam.
Oh, she looks so pretty and so calm. When they say "Are tutu," those who don't speak Yoruba, don't join me. Just
No,
please.
You said you should translate it.
Not that kind of translation. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very
We've come a long way with the fight against COVID-19, and the Ministry of Education was one of the most affected so far. So I must take your first reaction to the fact that babies can now go to school.
Well, looking at everything so far so good, it's like we started gradually testing the waters. We started with the SS3, we reopened and looked at how we will cope. And by the grace of God, we did. They wrote the exams, and to the glory of God, everything went smoothly. And there was no case of COVID infection from any quarters. So we now said, okay, let us move a little bit further again. Let's try GS3, because they are supposed to write terminal examinations as well. So we said, okay, GS3, and since the SS3 had passed out, let us now call in SS2, so that they can start early preparation towards their own terminal examination next year by the grace of God. So we said SS2 to resume in their schools so that their schools will not be empty, and GS3. And we started too, and to the glory of God as well,
GS3
they finished the basic examination certificate, examination certificate. And here we are, we realize that God has been helping us. And looking at the records in the state, it's like the pandemic is going down. The rate of attack is reducing.
I was about asking you that question, ma'am. That does it mean that we are now in post-COVID, that there is no COVID again?
No,
the
no.
going back to schools?
No, it's just that it has, the epidemic had greatly reduced.
Okay.
And looking at it, that is within control, following the guidelines. Now we realize that education is also important. These children have stayed at home for over 6 months, which had never happened. Maximum 3 months, the long vac. Now 6 months. Again, other classes have resumed. So many businesses are opening. Parents are in dilemma of who to take care of these children. You know, the crashes, the preschools serve as a support to parents when they go to work to have a place to keep these children. Now that the schools are not opened and the parents are going to work, the senior ones are back in school. In fact, you know, it became an issue to parents. And we realized that since it's going down and God has been helping us, all we just need to continue is strict supervision to ensure compliance.